Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. I wanted to share today how I set up a fear tracker for Daggerheart. And the same thing works with any metacurrency tracker that you want to set up, like MENACE for Draw Steel, for example, or anything else like that for any other games. I wanted to set it up in a way that the players could always see it. I'm frankly surprised Roll20 doesn't already have this built in, and maybe they'll add it sometime in the near future because metacurrency tracking is getting to be more and more games are using it, let's say. So fear, here you can grab any token, set up any token however you want, whatever artwork you want to use. And then on this token, I created a character called fear. I named the token fear. I created an attribute in the character. If I look at the open character sheet here, here's my fear character. Attribute of fear, 5 out of 12 to start. I was playing with 5 characters, so start with 5 and I ran it. And that's it. If you have that set up, you can track your fear in that. So let me just save that. I can just come in here and say, okay, I'm going to spend some fear. So go to -4. Oops, not -4, go to 4. And track fear like that. Now, I wanted this to be visible to the players all the time. And unfortunately, that's where token, you have to move the token to be where the players can see it. Later versions of Roll20 have foreground layers, right? So you can put this on the foreground layer. That puts it above the fog of war. So it can be seen, you can have it kind of off map, but inside the fog of war, and the players can still see it. Now, another kind of pain point with this kind of setup is, okay, so I have to go find the token, and I have to, +1, modify the token. And I wanted a way to be able to modify the token with it maybe even off screen. So say the token's somewhere off screen, it's 5 out of 12 now. I want to be able to hit a button. I have these 2 buttons down here. And I just wanted to go up without me having to go find the token. So I'll show you how I set those buttons up. They're really handy. And you can print stuff to the screen with the buttons like that. So I went to Collection, Macros, created Add a Macro, and I'm going to just cancel this one, and we'll look at the one I added. So I added a macro called F plus for Fear Plus, and I'm using a character set attribute API. So to actually change it like this, where it's off screen and you can still change it, you have to have the API. So you have to have a pro subscription to do that. You can do the regular tracker thing, without it. So it's using mod B attribute. So B in there makes it so it doesn't go above or below its maximum or minimum. It's silently changing it. It's changing the character name fear, changing the attribute name fear by +1, and then emoting as fear and saying builds. So let me go back to here, save that, and you can see as I add, I get fear builds. And when I get to 12, it'll stop. Then if I spend fear, I say fear manifests and it starts dropping. So let's look at that macro button. Mod B again, so it won't go below 0, and fear manifests. Cancel that. I'm going to put both of those macros as I wrote them in the description below of this video. So you can grab those, put them on your token. Like I said, the API you want is chat set attribute, or ATTR. Chat set ATTR, and I'm just using some mod. Mod B works like mod, except that the attribute's current value is kept between 0 and its maximum. So if you take that B out, it'll just be mod, and it can keep going up, keep going down. So here's the negative value, and it'll drop down to 0 and stay at 0. Now, you can see I'm showing fear builds, fear manifests. If you want to print to chat what the value is, unfortunately, in this Daggerheart game I have attached the Daggerheart sheet to it, and I think that's kind of messing up what attributes you can pull and print, because it won't let me pull and print the attribute to the screen. Hopefully they'll fix that, and maybe sometime later you can try it. I'm going to show you how I could do it another way, and you can just use that other macro, and I'll put both those macros below so you can see how you'd print to the screen if they ever fix that in the Daggerheart attached sheet on Roll20. We played a game, of course, Curse of the Copper Skulls. There's 2 videos of it. You can look on the channel, just do a search for Daggerheart. You can find the actual plays of the Daggerheart games we played, and that's where we use this fear tracker. So let me show you how to do a little bit more with it. And you can see the fear tracker I used here had a white text. That worked fine on this map where I had really dark backgrounds, but you might have to put some sort of like maybe semi-translucent background on this token to show that. So it can show up on a white background, or I made a version of it with a darker letter for a white background here. So now this one, what I want to show is how on this one, it will print to the screen the value it's changing to. So I have my two buttons down here that I created, F plus and F minus. I'm gonna hit F plus. So if fear goes up, it says fear builds increasing to 1 and all the way up. Let's look at what that macro looks like. So we have mod B attribute again, the B again, making so it doesn't go above 12 or below 0. Silent, name fear, fear plus 1, mode as fear, and then it's texting builds increasing to, and then one key thing is as you're grabbing the variable of the fear attribute, it's going to grab it before it does the modification for this this macro here. So you're going to have to add 1 to it in order for it to print to the screen the real value that's going to be after the modification. And in order not to show 13 when you're changing from 12 and going up, even though it can't go up from 12, I just took and put 12 and then comma and then the fear plus 1, and then keep the lower one of those two. So save that and we'll go up and we'll see how it just stops at 12. So fear builds increasing to 12, just stays at 12. And then fear decreasing, it'll come from down to 0, and it'll stay at 0. And that macro, I'll show you what that looks like. So again, I'll put this in the description below. Mod attribute, silent, name, fear, fear minus 1, emote as fear. I said fear unleashes. You can put, whatever text you want. Decreasing to, again, you have to do the minus 1 there. And now I'm doing 0 and the fear and keeping the higher of the two, K1. There you go. So that's how I do the macro buttons, or how I set up the API to do the fear tracking in Roll20 for Daggerheart. You can do the same thing for draw steals. What's it called that draw steal? Malice. I think a lot of games are using these kind of macro or meta currencies in the game that you're going to want to track. Hopefully a game like, or something like Roll20 will add this sometime, and this will be obsolete. You don't have to do this to set up a game for yourself, but until then, I hope you find this useful. And check out our videos of the game. It was a fun game. Check out the videos on this screen, the G2 game. We're doing the D20 play RPG system, running through against the giants, and it's just been a blast so far. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.